Hey Lunar creatures, welcome to the channel. So you want to make a video game and you don't know where to start? In today's video we're diving into 3 totally unique, super beginner friendly ways to build your very own game. Even if you've never done any coding on computer before, but you've used PowerPoint, you will be able to make a video game today. Now stick around and hit that like button if you're excited. Let's get right into it. We're going to make a video game using 3 simple tools. First, we're going to use PowerPoint. And for me, this is probably the simplest way to make a video game. And you will realize that even with its simplicity, you're still able to make really fun, entertaining, and creative games. Open a new PowerPoint presentation. You can add themes, you can add colors, you can add buttons, shapes, anything that you can think of. This is basically a time lapse of me creating the video game. And I'm gonna go over all the things that are important for you to know in order to be able to create your own. And basically you have to pick shapes that you like. Any shape will usually work. I think what matters the most in terms of creating this video game is the placement of the start and the end. If you're wondering how do we get the buttons to react and send us to a specific slide, I'm gonna show you right here. So for example, this button, level 1, we wanted to send us to level 1 every time we click on it. So when we go to level 1, it's on slide number 2. So that's important. We go back down and we select level 1. Then we are going to insert up here next to home. We move the mouse all the way to action. You click on action. And at this moment it's already linked to slide 2. As I said before, this was the slide where the level 1 is. But if you wanted to change it to any other, you could do previous slide, first slide, last slide. If you want to do a specific slide, all you have to do is just click slide and select the one that you're trying to choose. But yeah, we want number 2, so that's where we get at. And once it's already linked, you can just copy paste this button as many times as you want, and it would already include the hyperlink. So I'll show you right here. If I click on this, it will send me to. So let's get rid of all this. What I did, because you can copy this, is I just selected these and copied them right here, for example, so you can make a slide where you win and slide where you lose. When you hover your mouse over one of the red shapes, it will have a hyperlink that will send you to another slide. So once you're in that other slide, which should be the you lost slide, it will have all the levels, level 1 through 5, and when you go back to the level, it should place you exactly at the beginning of that level. That's because the mouse position, as I said before, matters, and it will determine where the level ends and where the level begins. Pause. If at this point you're thinking, oh, I want to play this game for myself, it looks easy. I'm gonna tell you for sure, this level is insane. It's not easy. But if you really want to give it a shot, you can just click the link below and it will take you to a page where you can download the PowerPoint presentation. Alright, first thing you need to do once you download the PowerPoint is start the presentation. Click down here or press F5. So let's check it out. We're gonna click here to start. Once you hear that noise, your mouse should be located in this area, which will allow you to go through the map. And if you are able to avoid all the red walls and you make it to the win, so if you go for level 2, your mouse should start in this area. You go through the area without touching the red lines. Now here I'm being really careful, trying not to touch anything. Let's jump to level 3. Here in level 3, let's just pretend that we're gonna touch a red. We get a bomb, we'll go back to level 3. You just can't get through unless you go through the right path. And like I said, the placement of each level matters, because if I click here, this is the start of level 3. So I copy this button for level 2. I go to level 2 and I place this button, and this area should be the start area. So I want to avoid touching this start area with any red objects. Now once this start area is clear of objects, I need to make a path that is achievable from the start location to the end location. And if you're able to achieve that, you get a video game. So when I was like 12 years old, in school I had this physics teacher who taught us how to make a video game on PowerPoint. I forgot about it until now. I just thought it was such a cool thing. I want to share it with you guys. If you find this interesting, you can make your own. If you made a creation, I want to see it. Just put hashtag Lunar Creatures Games. I'll be checking out all your submissions. Anything that you guys want to do in relation to these ideas that I put out there, just make sure that you share it, and I will check them all out. If you are a very creative person but you don't enjoy the language of coding and all this computer mathematical stuff, through AI you're able to improve these processes and reduce the margins of error. Now you will notice that these creatures, when they fall down to this red area here, if they fall all the way down, you lose one of your lives. So let me just give it a shot here. Now I'm not supposed to touch this explosion because it takes away a life, just like the bomb, but I can get the cow and all the little creatures. If you get money bags, it's extra points. If you touch the meteorite, you get extra points. And we can increase speed if you really want to go super fast. It just starts going very, very fast. And we lost. Now if you look at the leaderboard, we have Lunar on top with 522. If you think you can beat this score, just hop on the website and try it yourself. This is really cool. Whoa. I'm gonna teach you specifically what are the steps that you need to take in order to be able to create these interactive worlds and video games. Alright, so to make a video game or an interactive world using AI is very simple. All you really have to do is go to Gemini, which for me has been the best coding AI that I've found. And you need to make sure that it is on the reasoning, math and code selection. You can also use all-around help, and if you upgrade, you can even get more features. Now Gemini has the ability to give you a preview, which has been really useful in terms of speeding up the process of creation. The idea was just to come up with new things that I could do. I just wanted to use my own language to be able to create these things, and fortunately now we are at the time where we can do this. All you really need to get started is just to have an idea. In my case, for this example, I want to create sort of like a 3D environment of the surface of the moon, and we're going to give it all the details necessary so that the AI is able to recreate the environment in the way that we imagine. Initially, you just want to describe what you want it to do. So let's say moon surface. So this is the basic description of what I want my world to be. Now we're going to give it the instructions in order to convert it into code and allow us to actually play this game. Give it the instruction to make it an HTML file. and you need to combine it with the JS file. But sometimes when you give the instruction to the AI, it makes two separate files. So you need to specify that you want it to be one single file. And one of the most important parts that you need to do when writing this prompt is to say to the AI to make sure that this world is interactive. At this point, the AI is writing all this code with all the specifications I made, and we are gonna wait for the code to be written completely, and then we're going to get a preview of how the code works. So far it looks kind of beautiful, you know, like we can move around. There's our spaceship. There's some rocks all over. Let's see if we can pick up a rock. Okay. Damn, the jumps are crazy. Oh, we picked up a rock. Yeah, so as you can see, it's quite easy to make a game, but look, if there's no rocks, we basically have no reference of how fast we're moving. Alright, now let's make a game using Unity Hub. My experience was pretty smooth. I really like the fact that you are able to grab an existing video game idea and just adapt it to your style. For example, if you really enjoy the concept of Mario, for example, and you want to dash in a 2D environment and collect things, fight monsters, etc., you can do all this with simple templates, and all you really have to do is just change the characters, change the background. If you really want to, if you just want to jump in the game straight up, they already have the presets made and all you have to do is play. So I think that's pretty efficient for people who just enjoy gaming. To get started, you will have to download Unity Hub for Windows, Mac, Linux, whatever your device is. Just read the terms, accept, agree, and download the program. And when you run the program and set it up, it will ask you to sign in or create a new account. After you do that, you will have to download some resources and then you can create a project. So I will go for the 2D platform and just download it. It will be pretty quick. Once you load in, you can load the scene or you can do some tutorials. So let's zoom in and look for the player. To do that, we have many options. So let's just move around this environment and locate where we are. At this point, you see that there's the character and we can just press play and the game will start. And it's already pre-made, so it will work with the basic functions. You can jump, you can move around, there's some coins, there's some enemies. It's pretty fun to play, honestly. So basically, you can change pretty much anything about this game. For example, you have a scale tool. So if you drag up or to the right, you can stretch the character and play like if you were huge, for example. And you can adapt this in any way you want, but in general, you can make changes to the game in various ways. You can move the platforms, you can move the coins, you can move the enemies, you can create some secret rooms. All you really have to do is get familiar with the tools and how they function. just try out new things, try out to be creative, try the level and make sure that it works properly, because sometimes you could get stuck if you make a mistake. But the game is already pre-designed to function properly and be fun, so just, give it a shot, see how it works. And if you want to change, for example, just the character, you can make it smaller, you can make it bigger, you can move it around to position it on top or on the sides, wherever you want it to be. And it will always work as intended, because like I said, the game is already pre-designed to function. So you have all these assets here, to the documents, the tools, the rendering, the sprites, and these are all the tools and abilities that allow you to change things. There's a lot of tutorials online that teach you how to use Unity Hub, and it goes more in depth. Now, if you play any of the games and you get a high score, or you just want to share what you did, make sure you hashtag Lunar Creatures Games. You made it to the end of the video. If you want to participate and make some money in the process, you can check out the rules on the pinned comment, where I will explain you how you can earn some money by just creating some art using the canvas that I designed. That's all for now. Thank you for watching. Subscribe.